there, welcome back to the channel. Let's have a look at the 5 things that we learned from yesterday's 3-0 victory over Southampton and good performance over Southampton. And what we didn't get in the post-match as well is Liverpool losing and supposedly Arne Slot, who is the greatest coach of his era. Someone jumped the gun a little bit with that one, didn't they? Anyway, let's start with it. Now, number 1, Zirkzee. So, in my review yesterday, I said Zirkzee's got to score the chances that he's got. And people decided that that was criticism of Zirkzee. It's not criticism, it's just a statement of fact. He has to score. Since he scored, I mean, he's had 7 shots as a Manchester United player. The one he scored was the hardest one to score. And then the 6 shots that he's had, he's got to score at least one of those. At least one, maybe even 2 of the chances that he's had since. He's getting good opportunities, but he has to score. Now, he is a link player, and his hold and link play was really good. And I think a lot of what United did well was on the back of Zirkzee's link and hold up play. You can see what he's going to bring to the team. You can see what he's bringing to the team. He helps us with that sort of intricate passing and connectivity, as does Ahmad, I think it's worth noting, in that final third. And you get runners in, around and off him, and he is a dangerous dynamic for Manchester United. But he has to score the goals. It's like when people start talking about other aspects of goalkeepers. You know, Andre Onana, supposedly, we haven't really seen it, this phenomenal player in terms of with his feet, with playing out. But he's got to do the saving. That's his number 1 job. Zirkzee's got to go and score those goals. Now, he was unlucky not to score. He was getting, his instincts show that he gets in some great positions. I'm confident the goals will come, but he does have to score them. He's had 6 shots. Now, I don't know how many shots Højlund had on that barren run he had, but Højlund would come off the pitch with 0 shots very frequently. So it's a good thing that we're finding Zirkzee, and it's a good thing that Zirkzee's also getting into the right positions for himself. But he does have to start scoring them. Right, listen up, everyone. We've all got our own bad habits, right? Whether it's biting your nails, spending too much time on your phone, or, the other one. It's tough to break free. But what if I told you there was a new healthy way to handle certain cravings? Introducing Fume. Now, that's the sponsor of today's video, and it's a leader in the flavoured air category. And it's a revolutionary flavoured air device. It smells like chewing gum. Right, it smells awesome, to be fair. It's a revolutionary flavoured air device that is designed to be the perfect alternative and an enjoyable way to fill that void in a natural, guilt-free way, giving you something to reach for without any of the downsides. Now, it's an award-winning flavoured air device, and it's actually really cool looking, and it's quite satisfying to use. It's really well made, it's quite weighty, it's got a high quality design, and it looks cool. It's not addictive, there's no nicotine, no batteries, no toxic flavours, and it's a pretty good way to replace a bad habit with a good one. Now, you can get all sorts of different flavours. There's cinnamon hearts, there's black licorice, there's going to be something for everyone. This is spearmint, and it's pretty popular because it's refreshing, gives a nice clean sensation without none of the guilt. It draws flavour into your mouth, not your lungs. It's total guilt-free alternative if you're trying to ditch a bad habit. There's no vapor. You can use it anywhere, and it's going to help with things like anxiety. There's all sorts of magnets, snaps and clicks, and all you got to do is sort of spin it around and adjust how much airflow comes in. If you've got a bit of a habit that you're trying to kick, then this is a bit of a game changer. If you're looking to replace a bad habit with something new and something that's guilt-free, then there's over 300,000 people have had a bit of a success story with trying it, and there's a limited time only. If you use the code Stephen Howson, that's STEPHENHOWSON, then you're going to get a free Fume base when you order your journey pack. So head over to tryfume.com. That's tryfum.com. Use the code Stephen Howson or scan the QR code on the screen to get your free Fume base right now. Number 2, I did cover this yesterday in the review, but it's worth touching on again. Dalot was absolutely supreme. He had supposedly a difficult international break. Didn't go well for him in Holland, but bounced back with a man-of-the-match performance. He defended brilliantly. He was very front foot. He anticipated really well. There was a few times that we saw a striker or a forward waiting for a ball, and Ligt steaming in, physically aggressive, front foot, and getting in front of him. He got really well for his goal. Again, I don't care if my centre-half score goals. It's a nice to have, certainly nowhere near a necessity, but he did get up brilliantly for a goal. And that goal coming so soon after the penalty miss really turned the tide of the game. There was a couple of last-ditch challenges and clearances from him as well. I find it absolutely laughable that Graham Souness, with a straight face, called him lightweight. He's a unit. He's an absolute unit, and he's settled in like an absolute dream. You keep him fit, you keep Martinez fit. I don't know where Yoro comes into this team. It's going to be really, really interesting to see how they sort of shape up. I wonder if they are thinking about Martinez at left back and having a very flexible sort of back line with Mazraoui on the other side. I wonder if that's what he's sort of shaping up to do, because we've got some talent in those areas. But Dalot was brilliant yesterday, absolutely brilliant. Second half dominance. So, been a rarity this actually under Ten Hag, is that United quite often had a great first half, and then whatever happened at half time, we came out and we were worse in the second half. But that wasn't the case against Southampton. Like, I don't know how much you put into their penalty miss and us getting a goal, literally flipping the game on its head, because after 30, 35 minutes, Southampton were really good. But the game's 90 minutes, not 30 minutes, and you have to play for the full 90 minutes. And United ended the half nice and then started the half nice. And then actually, as the game went on, if we'd have played another 10 minutes, I think we'd have scored again. Like, we completely controlled. We completely dominated. We probed really well. We made great patterns. We created good opportunities. We were penetrating the box frequently. And we stopped Southampton playing. And as soon as we scored twice, they looked like they had no fight in them whatsoever to even get a consolation goal. So that was nice to see. I thought it was a very, very solid performance from United in that aspect, and one that gives you a little bit of confidence going forward. It was that good. 4, Dalot. Now, Dalot, I thought he's got a lot of stick yesterday, and I think it's a little unwarranted. I think we saw the young lad from Southampton put him under intense pressure. He really struggled against him 1v1. And particularly with the overloads that they was looking to get down our left, their right-hand side. You know, he struggled with him a little bit, and that lad came off the pitch with quite a few chances, probably their best player on the pitch. But Dalot was getting on the ball, and Dalot was involved in, I think he had more ball than anybody else in a United shirt. Now, was that a plan by Southampton to let him have it, knowing because he's predominantly right-footed on the left-hand side, it's a little disjointed having him do that? I'm not 100% sure what the reason for that was, but gives away a penalty. He's having a tough time with that winger, getting on the ball but not actually being as progressive as you would want from him. He did come away with an assist, but I think it is probably an afternoon where he'll want to watch that tape again, and there'll be lots of things he can point to that went okay, but lots of things that he can point to where he goes, there's some learning to be had there and some improvements to be made there. But I think people are overcooking, because he gave away the penalty and because that lad had loads of time and space. I think people are overcooking that he was really, really bad, when he wasn't really, really bad, but he struggled for sure. And then finally, Ugarte. We saw him. I was hoping for him from the start, but ultimately him coming on once the game was already won was a great decision really in the end. I expect he'll feature more and more, if not getting a start pretty soon. But he was steady, he was composed. We saw, winning a tackle, we saw what his legs, and we saw his presence as well. He definitely brought a little bit of a balance to a midfield that, with Mainu, Eriksen and Bruno, doesn't really have a hell of a lot of balance. If he comes in and it clicks like we got a glimpse of yesterday, that could be very exciting for United going forward. I'm just unsure, where do you throw him in? Do you throw him in against Barnsley, give him 90 minutes with the team and see if that can help sort of like accelerate him in what would be lower pressure sort of circumstances? Did you already have a team in mind for Tuesday? Has any of the injuries or possible knocks changed that? I would like to see him get 90, and I think giving him 90 against Barnsley Tuesday in what should be a slightly easier game from a technical point of view, but probably won't be an easier game from a physical point of view. I think that'd be a real good game to sort of throw him in and just let him get used to the hustle and bustle of a proper English football sort of game, as well as I would expect Antony to feature. I would expect Collier to feature. I would expect Maguire to probably start that game. Who else do we think is going to feature in that? Maybe Tom Eaton gets a run out. I think there's not loads of options for sure, but I think there's certainly maybe Harry Amas gets a go. I think there's probably 3 or 4 that are going to come in, but I wouldn't be surprised as well to see United go relatively strong around that. Maybe Mazraoui gets the night off because, you know, he's kind of come in without a pre-season with us. So maybe you put Dalot at right back, you go Amas at left back. Mazraoui gets a night off because I think he's very, very important for how we play. He's been sensational since we signed him. You know, it looks like, you know, even if Martinez isn't injured, I'm not sure the severity of that injury, you might want to go with Maguire and Ligt. You know, maybe Casemiro, Ugarte and Collier as your midfield three. Maybe that's how you do it. It's a little bit combative, isn't it, maybe, but you give Casemiro a little bit of free rein to go and do whatever. Antony, maybe Wheatley. Garnacho gets a start. It's a pretty strong team still, isn't it? But either way, you know, that's going to happen with an absolute quickness. So we shall see. But I'll be back with a preview tomorrow about that anyway, and we'll look into a little bit of what we've got to face against Barnsley and how I would line up against them. But I think that's probably it, what we just said there. But anyway, just tune in. As always, take it easy, and I will see you in the next one. Player ratings coming out in a little bit, so please come and get your thoughts in for that one, and I'll see you there for that. Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you are new around these parts, then don't forget to subscribe. My channel is proudly supported by my community on Patreon. If you'd like to get a little bit of extra content, a Discord group, meetups, 5-a-side games, weekly podcasts, behind the scenes, and even an occasional bit of transfer news as and when I get it, then for the price of a pint, you can show your appreciation for the content that we make and get some goodies for doing so as well. Check the link in the description or click the button right here. You'll also find all of my socials here too if you want to follow me on any of those platforms. Nice one.